Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. This some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thoughts and harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only a few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Feel like I'll be 10 feet, man. Big up everybody in the building. You already know the vibes. You know the ties already. We're here for another match preview back in the Premier League. Crystal Palace, should I say? I was about to say Istanbul, funnily enough. But Crystal Palace versus Liverpool, the match preview. Apologies, I know this usually would be a live, but, you know, just been so busy over the last couple of hours. So, you know, I just said, you know, I need to get that content out for the people. But, guys, as the usual, man, make sure you're smashing the like, sharing, and subscribing to the damn channel. People, like I keep saying, we are en route to 2,000 subscribers. Big up to all the subscribers already. Big up to all of you. Listen, you know, we've had a few conversations over the last couple of days, you know, in regards to opinions and agendas and all that kind of stuff. But listen, none of that even really matters, man. I know everyone shows love, you know, when they come over here to GTV and as well as, you know, Enz's channel, Savage's channel, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I know there's a few clowns out there. There's a few clowns out there. But listen, you know, there's not much I can really say or do, you know, on that, man. Like I always say, big up to the people. Now, as I said, we're here for the Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Another early kickoff for the Reds, 12:30. Yeah, on the slot is that's what's this? The second one. First one was against Ipswich on the opening day, or the opening game, should I say, of the season. And now again away to Crystal Palace, even though, you know, we did have that Champions League game. But listen, hey, who am I to complain? You know what I'm saying? Who am I to really realistically moan? But it is what it is. We've got to play the game anyway, so let's just kind of get to it. You guys can, of course, you can see here, last 5 games for Liverpool, only lost once in that time. Of course, that was the Nottingham Forest defeat. Crystal Palace, you know, sitting currently 18th in the table. I am very surprised. I am surprised. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very surprised by their kind of form in the Premier League this season. I know they lost Elise, and we've seen what Elise is doing this season. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, this guy is on fire right now with Bayern Munich, and it makes sense because, you know, he's a fantastic player, definitely a player I wished Liverpool had, you know, kind of, you know, gone in for, but it is what it is. Crystal Palace still have to kind of do their things, still have to, you know, go out there and get the results. And then the back end of last season, they were doing that. You know, they looked like a very strong team and it looked like they were going to, you know, kind of progress under Glasner. But so far, as you can see here, last 5 games, no wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats. Not really looking too gravy, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Do you know what I mean? They're not really looking like the flavor of the month. You can see here, these are their victories. Well, these are their games. I say victories, but there literally is, you know, 2 in there. These are their games that they've had this season. Only games they've won is literally really in the EFL Cup. You can see there, man. I mean, Norwich beat them 4-0. QPR beat them 2-1. Outside of that, they've been losing games, man. You know, I know they got that draw against, you know, Manchester United, lost out to, you know, West Ham. You know, they drew to Chelsea. Funny, when they face these bigger teams, they seem to do pretty well. So I don't know if that means something for the Liverpool game. I hope not. Last season, when we went to Selhurst Park, it was a bit tricky. We did get that late Harvey Elliott goal. I know, I was there at the game. That was a funny experience, and I know you guys are going to troll me regardless, but it is what it is. But yeah. It's going to be a little bit tricky, man. And you guys can obviously see here, Premier League form in all competitions. Of course, Crystal Palace only getting those 2 victories. Now, on to, you know, their kind of key players that, listen, I feel like that if they're going to do something, these are going to be the guys. Of course, we already know Eze. This is a player that a lot of teams would like to sign. This is a player that a lot of teams and a lot of fans, should I say more so, we're probably looking at in the summer and saying he's also going to get a move. Jesus Christ, I don't know where they would be if they let Elise and Eze go, you know, and that's probably why Eze is going to, he's quite, he was already important to them, but he's now doubly important to the cause, you know, at Crystal Palace, you know, for this season, because there is no Elise, you know, alongside Mateta as well. But Elise, someone who likes to pick up those pockets of spaces on that left-hand side, sometimes in the attacking midfield. These are kind of his stats, for this season. We know what he's about. He scored against us at Anfield at the back end of last season. We know what he's about. Do you know what I mean? I don't even need to talk too much on someone like him. We just know what type of player he is. Next up, also, depending on, of course, if he starts, depending on how, Crystal Palace want to kind of go, is their new signing, Eddie Nketiah, obviously signed from Arsenal. I felt like they probably needed someone like him. Now, he has appeared, and I'll show you guys their kind of formation, that they've used like this season. He has appeared sometimes on the right-hand side, almost like a winger, and sometimes behind, Mateta, who's like the lone striker up there. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Nketiah is one of those players, yeah. Give him a sniff, he will score. But if you don't, then I feel like he can be kept quiet in the game. But again, I just feel like he'd be another player for Crystal Palace who, and again, against these bigger sides, they've done, they've gotten the draws, so clearly they have a game plan and the manager has a game plan against these bigger teams and against these bigger sides. So, yeah, I feel like he's going to be someone we definitely, just need to keep an eye on. And of course, listen, the man who couldn't stop scoring last season. This is the guy who was on fire, come the back end of last season. This is the guy who, a lot of people were looking at a bit differently, myself included. I definitely started to look at, Mateta, with a different kind of opinion, than the one I had on him previously. He was on fire towards the back end. Obviously, then went away for the Olympics as well, with France was also doing well, for them leading them up to the final and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's another one. Big, strong, imposing individual. Kanate and Virgil van Dijk, who I think are going to be the two who plays, definitely going to have a job on their hands. I remember last season against Kwanzaa, I think he played in that game. Didn't really feel like Kwanzaa was, what I'm saying? I felt like, yeesh. Yeah, Kwanzaa had a tough time of it. I'll definitely say that. I felt like anyway, Kwanzaa did have a little bit of a tough time, against someone like Mateta. But listen, it is what it is. But those are the kind of players that I'm looking at, Mateta, Eddie Nketiah, and Eze. Those are the players I think, yeah, they could potentially cause Liverpool a few problems in the game if Liverpool are not careful. So this is where we really will, have to just kind of, have our heads screwed on. We know it's going to be a tough game. Away at Palace is never, ever easy. Don't want anyone to, kind of underestimate them. I know we did get that victory last season, as I said, but we do just need to, just be easy. 12:30 and that, just be easy. Now, this is my lineup for the game. Now, you can see, obviously, I've got Crystal Palace's. This has been their kind of formation this season. So they play in a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. That really, it just depends on how you kind of want to look at it. With the 3-4-2-1, all it will be is Eze and Nketiah will kind of play just behind Mateta. It's still kind of a free, but those two will be the players who, will start to move out wide, when they have possession in those kind of areas. So, yeah, it's either or. I've just put it as a 3-4-3 just so you guys can kind of see. But this is where I feel Liverpool might be able to get a bit of joy playing against something like this. I know they're gonna. I say 3-4-3, but I guess against the bigger sides, it'll be more like a 5 because you have Munoz and Mitchell on either flank, and then of course they've got their two midfielders in there. I guess this is where you then start asking players like an Eze, hey, listen, do you mind just dropping in because Liverpool may be getting a little bit too much joy in the middle of the park, but then also out wide, potentially if they need to double up, on the attack and stuff like that, they can obviously do so, knowing that they of course got the three centre backs back there with, Kamada potentially or a Wharton just kind of dropping in, into those kind of spaces. In regards to Liverpool's 11, I've gone with basically the same 11 that I feel, apart from one player. And the one player I've changed is Gakpo for Luis Diaz. Not because I think Diaz has been poor or anything like that. I just think, you know what? Gakpo kind of, in my opinion, does deserve a bit of a start, if I'm being totally honest with you. Can't see why this can't be a game that he can kind of play in. Diaz hasn't scored or assisted in the last few games. I felt like Gakpo looks like he's building up, to that kind of level that I'm going to assume everybody thought he would be at or he is at or whatever it is kind of thing. So I've just looked at it and said, maybe Gakpo in this kind of game. But then you can also bring in a Luis Diaz because I just feel with the kind of space, being able to cut in, maybe not having as many people, in the middle of the pitch, that might help someone like a Gakpo, because we know he's all about, running down the wing, cutting inside, and then obviously, of course, getting, that shot off. And I think he can work well. And I think he does, work relatively well with a Diogo Jota, who I've obviously got back up top. And then I've got, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and McAllister. I think that's the three I would like to go with for, this game. And then, of course, the back five kind of speak for itself. I think it's really good that we're able to kind of keep the same defense. I don't like chop and changing too much of teams. I don't really like all of that kind of stuff. I prefer if we can keep the same 11 as much as possible, as fit as possible. I think Liverpool then have a better chance to do better, in the season. So, yeah, for me, that's the 11 that I've gone for. Of course, let me know in the comments. Is there anybody you feel, needs to be taken out? Obviously, Chiesa, I don't really know the situation there at the time of this video. I don't really know, kind of what's going on with Chiesa. Is he fit? Is he not fit? To me, you're not starting. Nunes, I just prefer Jota. Again, Nunes is another player you can, of course, then bring on to the pitch. But that's the 11 that I've gone for. As I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who would you take out? Who would you put in? Etc. etc. Now, on to a bit of news. Player of the Month, Premier League Player of the Month awards have been announced, and Liverpool have two players in there, in Luis Diaz and Ryan Gravenberch. You probably say this is for the month of September. You probably agree with that, to be honest with you. I can't think, maybe even Virgil, and we've spoken about Virgil van Dijk before in the last few days about, we never seem to really give Virgil these Man of the Match awards or look at him in this kind of context in terms of, he should be the player of the month. But I just feel like with someone like him, I think it's just because he's expected. And listen, it's one of those things where you're almost like, it's a bit unfair, right? But ultimately, if we expect you to do this and you're doing it, can we say that you're playing out of your, it's weird. It is so weird. I think, obviously, of course, I think Virgil's the best centre back in the world, but yeah, I can understand at times when people don't necessarily appreciate at times, the work that he does, because it's almost like, yeah, but I expect him to. But then listen, it's one of those, don't always expect, because the day that he drops off, yeah, I'm saying people are going to be, talking whatever they're talking. Harvey Barnes in there, I agree with that. Gabriel, yeah. Raul Jimenez, Dwight McNeil, Cole Palmer, Ollie Watkins, yeah, not really too fussed with the choices in there. And of course, manager of the month, as we can see here, Arne Slot has been nominated alongside Mikel Arteta, Unai Emery, Enzo Maresca, and Marco Silva. I think this one's going to be pretty difficult to choose from, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think it's going to be tricky for them to kind of decide. So I'm going to be intrigued to see who they pick up. For some weird reason, I feel like they're going to go with Arsenal or Villa. But let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. Arne Slot, in my opinion, does deserve to be nominated at the very, very, very least. Now, just a few quotes and stuff like that. I haven't watched Arne Slot's press conference, so again, no idea what he said, but who cares? Do you know what I mean? It's not going to make too much of a difference, in my opinion, unless he says that, I don't know, Ali's injured or some shit like that. But this is just Mo Salah, just talking about Arne Slot. He says, with Arne, he sometimes makes changes and adapts depending on the team we are playing against. And I think he mentioned in comparison to like Jurgen Klopp, where you have your kind of set in stone kind of style, tactics and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas you can see with Arne Slot, he does change it. And this, for me personally, was exactly the kind of thing that, I wanted to see. I did feel like I was a little bit tired. We're always going through, it almost feels like at times you're just kind of going through the motions. Okay, you pick the same team, you pick the same thing, you do this, everything is the same. Doesn't matter what opponent you do face, but you know what I mean? It just used to be, kind of like one of those kind of things. And that used to just bug me, because I used to just always kind of think to myself, bro, like, sometimes we can, we can do something different. We can, go a different way, if we need to go a different way in a different type of game, why can't that, necessarily, be a thing? Kind of thing. So yeah, it's just one of those kind of things. But listen, it is what it is. And then this news about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Listen, look, I don't even really want to talk too much on this, if I'm being super honest with you, because in my eyes, I'm just like, let's just wait and see more than anything. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Let's not, sit here and think one thing, but then the reality is it's going to be something different, etc., etc. Let's just wait and see. Obviously, Fabrizio just retweeted something he had put out in March, which was, as of today, Real Madrid are not negotiating with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think they're just monitoring the situation like all the top clubs would do. Let's not be silly. Yeah, I mean, the top clubs would be, kind of monitoring these kind of things, because at the end of the day, he's a top player. He is a good player. And if you can get him on a free, oh my God, play like that on a free, like that's too, it's almost too good to turn down, almost. So yeah, I can totally understand that. Last bit of news before we head on out of here. Just not even news, just kind of just wanted to put this up there. I'll say it how it is. I just want to put this up there. Obviously, Mo Salah, the first Liverpool player to score in 5 consecutive Champions League home games. We do what we do, man. We do it. We do what we do. We do what we do, man. 6 goals plus 5 assists in 9 games. 11 GA. 6 goals and 5 assists in 9 games. We do what we do, man. We do what we do. And as I said before, of course, manager of the month, player of the month, Ryan Gravenberch, and also a goal of the month for Darwin Núñez. He's been nominated for that for his goal against Bournemouth. So yeah, pretty good strike, by the way. I haven't seen the other strikes or the other goals and stuff like that to know if his would win, but it was a good strike. It was a good strike on his weaker foot as well. So yeah, I would say it was deserved. Again, I haven't seen all the other goals, but I think that would definitely be deserved to be, up there in the goal of the month award. And last, we will end it with the man on the thumbnail. That is Ryan Gravenberch. He has been awarded the September Player of the Month. Listen, I'll just say this: the PR machine is PRing right now. Yeah, I'm saying it's PRing right now. Not to say he doesn't deserve it. Of course, he's been good. He's been very, very good this season. He has surprised probably every single person. Even, I'll be honest, even the ones who actually thought he probably would do. He is a good player. I don't feel like you thought he would do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like maybe you did. Maybe the 1 or 2 people potentially saw it that way. But yeah, I don't know, man. In my eyes, I don't know how you could have. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because it didn't look like that. And it's not looked like that for 2 years for Gravenberch. So the fact that we're seeing it now, to me, is a bit of a surprise. But listen, it's fantastic that he's doing well, in the team. And long may it continue. But that is all for today. My prediction for the game: 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2. I think Liverpool might drop points in this game. I feel like we'll drop points. I don't know what it is. I just feel like we'll drop points. So I'm going to go 2-2 in this game. So let's see. Hopefully we come back. Hopefully I come back to Enza's call-in show that he will do at some point after the game. And I'm coming into the chat and we've won 5-0, 7-0, whatever that scoreline was that time that we slapped them during the COVID period of time. But yeah, let's hope it's that. But let me know your score predictions. Let me know your lineups, of course, in the comment section, people. And I will catch you for the match reaction. Have a good day. Stay blessed. Peace.